Hello traders, today is Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. I'm gonna start the video with Apple. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice. This content is for educational purposes only. All right, so quite an eventful day. We had FOMC, which, by the way, the market didn't have much of a reaction through basically the whole meeting and the Q&A for Jerome Powell. And also we had earnings, and to be honest, things, you know, I thought things could look a little bit worse, but they are not that bad, to be honest. Okay, so Apple is had this very nice rebound on the 200 SMA, or very close to it. And now we're seeing this very aggressive move into earnings. Now, if earnings were incoming tomorrow afternoon, I would be very bullish on this whole situation. I think that we can come into this trend line, maybe retest support at 237, then continue going up towards 248. I guess what I'm seeing here only on the technicals, I like the MACD and the TSI, how they are looking. They're curling very aggressively to the upside. And we have seen this type of behaviors like right here, for example. Now, in this case, you're way lower on the zero line. That is a good thing. And you also had similar behavior somewhere in this area right here. Then you had a nice continuous move to the upside. We love to see a little bit of red, to be honest, on Apple, but it looks like it's having enough momentum. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. And you had this sell-off pre-market, and then once you hit the level of support at 233, then you start going up all the way to 239, which is where you closed. Not a bad day for Apple, to be honest, but we still have to go over earnings, and earnings are going to be very telling. Apple, to be honest, is a company that is not innovating, it's not doing much, but it's also safe haven for a lot of investors when things get a little bit, I guess, uncertain, and where there's not a lot of guidance, especially on these names. So this is probably what we are seeing. Also, we are seeing the fact that maybe Apple could benefit of all the circus that is happening with chips, the pricing of chips, and the benefit that will come for Apple if you can use cheaper hardware to compute large language models. But we'll see. I mean, I do think that tomorrow we're going to have a little more color and obviously more direction, but this move so far has been very impressive. I did buy some calls a few days back, actually, and I did buy at the bottom of this candle, and I think I bought somewhere in one of these 3 candles. So these are playing out very well, especially yesterday. They really skyrocketed, but I'm still gonna see what happens. I'm gonna carry these calls into earnings, which is pretty risky. I could end up in a bad situation there. Okay, let's move on to this other name that I'm liking, and that is Affirm. And let me take a note on this pretty quick. I like this chart. I like the fact that we came down from this. I was back when we were here. Well, we were analyzing Affirm from these areas, from the 200 SMA, all of this. But once we got to this point, for me, it was very obvious that it was extended and needed to cool down. And we got that. We went all the way down almost to 52 or 51.5. That's not bad. Now look at the MACD and the TSI. They are looking very, very good. They give me a little bit of a vibe of what we've seen with Snowflake, even though they are not doing too good. They didn't do good today, or CRM. I'm talking about the setup that you have here on the MACD and the TSI. Also maybe Costco, and there's a lot of names, and now we're seeing this type of moves. Well, in this case, Affirm is not looking bad at all. I might actually jump into this. I'm gonna maybe stay away a little bit from the Max 7, and I'm gonna start trying to trade other names that are, in my opinion, gonna start benefiting from a rotation of capital allocation. Now today, Affirm was up 2.27%. Let's go to a 5 minute. I wasn't looking to Affirm very much, but look at this. It came down to a 200 SMA on the 5 minute chart, went up, and you know, in a very, I guess, continuous fashion to the upside, sat on that 35 SMA on the 5 minute, and then after hours, nothing really happened. That's not bad at all. So this is looking good. Now you can also tell me, well, you have a double bottom here. Yeah, maybe, but in that case, you have to wait your entry to. You have to wait to crash over 69.6, which would be the neckline for confirmation of your entry. I think this, you know, I might actually get on this tomorrow and try to anticipate the move. And the reason for this is because you have low liquidity into resistance, and the MACD and the TSI are also telling me a story. And the trend is also continuing to the upside for now. So we'll see how that goes. But this name, Affirm, is I'm liking it for sure. Now let's take a look at AMD, and there is a little bit of a divergence in what we're seeing in some names as far as AMD and some other names, especially NVIDIA. But I think it's silly to compare AMD with NVIDIA. I think that AMD right now is just moving. I really have no idea exactly why, but the fact that we went up 2.79% today, and yesterday it was pretty much flat. A lot of people are thinking or saying that this was the bottom right here, and now we're gonna continue going up. I don't know about that. I think this is more tradable at, right at this area right here, at 135 and 130, 134. I think is also very critical for the move into resistance at 121. And the reason why I'm saying this is that by the time you're hitting 121, give or take, you're going to be very close to the 35 SMA, which is turning into a very, I guess, strong level of resistance. You got it right here, 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 and here. So I think that if we go into 121 and we meet the 35 SMA, and then you mount the 35 SMA at the same time as you are mounting resistance at 121, then you're in better shape, in my opinion, to actually start looking into this name and paying more attention in how the trajectory from 121 to 134 is going to look like. I think that once you break 134, you're going to have a very nice move towards 150. But, you can disagree with me, and maybe you can say, you're mounting the 35 SMA, you're mounting resistance. Why not taking why not trying to anticipate this move or take advantage of this move if you think it's going to go to 134? The reason why I'm thinking that 134 is more safe as far as breaking this level of resistance is because you want to see more strength. Look how bad this name has been moving here. So you had this drop under 121, you came up, support, you came all the way up to the 35 SMA, thinking, or maybe faked you into thinking that you were going to go into 134, and then you got, slapped really bad into going even under 121. So that's why I'm thinking it is kind of say it would be safer just to go and wait until 134 and see how we behave in this area of resistance. So that's what I have for AMD. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. It was kind of choppy for Bitcoin. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. We're still in range. We're still between 100 and 109, or 108, 109. This is not bad at all. I've been saying this. MACD and TSI are kind of neutral over the zero line. Not a lot of problems there. It was kind of choppy for Bitcoin today. It was all over the place. I was looking into some of these moves. Let me see, 11, 12, yeah, somewhere around here. So Powell was talking here, it went down, then it's starting to come up, and then it took a little bit of momentum. We just have to break, to be honest, this level at 1.9 and then probably all-time highs, I do think that this still has legs to continue going up. We have to break this level of resistance in this area. You have a little bit of more liquidity here, but to be honest, I think that we have to continue um, paying attention to support and 100 and resistance. That's it. You break resistance, this is going to move, I think. But if you break support, you under 100, you're going straight into 92. So to me, is looking as a very simple chart. Now, if we continue here in this motion, zigzagging in range, once this breaks, is going to break with a lot of momentum. That would be fantastic. But for now, just keep an eye on these two levels of support and resistance. Now let's go back up and take a look at our friends at Cava. And I mentioned Cava prior to this move. And let me take a look. I have here on the first. Was it the first? Did I make a video on the first? Yeah, which was a holiday. So we were on December, January, right here. So I made a video here. We were right down here. And then the second video after that of this year for Cava, let me take a look. I like to go back and see when, so my notes say the first and then the 18th. That's what I think, on the 18th. So we were right on this candle right here, on this one. Oh, 17. So on a Saturday, I was looking at this red candle. So I mentioned Cava the first time this year, here, right on this level of support at 110. And then on the 18th was my second call, which was, I was looking at this red candle right here. The 18th was a Saturday. And then look at this move. What did I say? I said, well, you can, when especially on the 18th, go back to that video, that you can argue that you have a double bottom, just like what I just said on Affirm. And then you were about to break that neckline on this double bottom, if you're considering this as a double bottom, which is pretty obvious, but it's kind of tight. Then you moved, mounted the 35 SMA and stayed on top of it. And look at this move. You broke resistance, and today you got to break two levels of resistance at once, up 7.44%. This might actually have more room to continue going up. Interesting. Now I'm just trying to think, why did I mention this on the first? And it was because you were hitting support. The MACD and the TSI were starting to curve to the upside. This is good. Very nice. Now you're getting into a level of high liquidity, which might slow down the move, which is fine, even if you retest this level of support at 32 or 132, I'm sorry. And then you can continue moving to the upside. But this is looking very, very nice. This is looking nice. I'm glad if you actually got this move, or if you were paying attention to this name and you actually got this very nice move. Very happy for you. But this is I called it on the first and then on the 18th again. Now let's talk about Costco now. And look at where we are. I did buy calls of Costco. I bought Costco down here, I sold, and I bought again right on this candle right here. Now we are here. I think that Costco has room to continue going into 1,000. I put a post on how you call it, on X, and it's looking very, and it's looking like it's going to 1,000. That's what I basically said, and it looks like, we have a nice way for a continuation here. MACD and TSI are looking very bullish. You're mounting the 35 SMA. You just need a little bit more of momentum, but I'm not too worried about Costco. This is one of those stocks that a lot of people consider boring, but look how these boring stocks move. I used to trade this type of stocks back in the day, and I think I'm going back into them, at least for until the, I just want to see that the dust settle a little bit, and then after that I'm gonna start allocating money into something more entertaining. But what I like about this type of stocks, you have Walmart. I did have some calls on Walmart. What I like about Costco, Walmart, even Bank of America, or some of these stocks is that they move. Caterpillar, a lot of the times, not always, but a lot of the times, they move in a very predictable manner. And they are pretty strong businesses, like Costco, for example, we all know, or Walmart, kind of like the same thing. They're very safe. They move slow, however, like you had this very nice candle here, and this is a 2.72 candle, and this is a 0.56 candle. So I mean, we can argue that yeah, they move slow and they are not as I guess interesting as other stocks. I totally agree on that, but they are safer, especially when there is not a lot of direction in the market right now, and especially when, in my opinion, we need to get more information about what is going to happen on the tech sector, which is being such a I guess, a giving sector for all of us. But anyways, I do think that continuing in this position, my main level of resistance of support right here is not this level right here. You did close right above 964. My main level of resistance right now would be that 35 SMA. So we'll see how we react here. There is not a lot of liquidity, so we might actually continue moving up. Again, the MACD and the TSI are looking very promising, and the RSI is also on its way towards higher levels. So it's way to 70, I guess. Okay, let's move on and talk about HIMS. And I also, let me take a note right here. I also got calls on HIMS, and they're doing quite well. I did buy them when we were breaking this level right here, and I think HIMS has legs to continue going up. Now, if, as you know, if I see weakness, I would probably get rid of those calls, and but I do that with every single position that I have. Now, I do think that this is moving very nicely. I like how the MACD and the TSI are looking. The RSI is also looking good. It's moving in a very structured fashion. I also mentioned this in the past, this little double bottom here, and now we're moving very nicely to the upside. Today we actually, I think it was red and went red to green. Yeah, so you had this move and then buyers came back in, but I'm not surprised of seeing this, because really you see that a lot on HIMS, to the upside and to the downside. So you had buyers here, sellers came in, took over. You had buyers here, sellers came in, same thing. But then you see very similar stuff right here. Sellers, buyers took total control. So you see that a lot in HIMS. I think it's if you want to day trade this name, it's not a bad name to day trade if you have the stomach for it. But look at this. I think that HIMS is going to hit all-time highs sooner than what we think. Again, MACD and TSI, look at the TSI divergence that we have here. That's very nice. And the TSI, again, is going to give you the strength of the stock as far as where the move is going. It's a very similar indicator than the MACD. They look very similar on this type of time frames, like on high time frames, but they actually, you can see some difference on them, on how they behave on the 1 minute or the 5 minute. You find some differences in how they behave. It's minimal, but I like seeing these two indicators at the same time. All right, let's move on and talk about, let's go, Meta. Meta was up, I think, after hours of earnings, and it was up like 2.5%. Yeah, 2.25%. Okay, not bad. I mean, they didn't have. Let me take a look. I have. So EPS was 8.2 versus 6.78. So that's 150% year over year. Not bad. Revenue was 4.39 billion versus 46.98 billion. That is up 21% year over year. I'm sorry, I said on the EPS it's only 50%, not 150. It's 50% up year over year. And then Q1 of this year revenue outlook, 39.5 billion to 41.8 billion versus the expectations that they had of 41.67 billion, which maybe that is why this name didn't move any farther. But this is almost at 7. It actually was at 700 at one point. Wow, that's incredible. I didn't wanna hold my position of Meta into earnings, but this would have been fantastic. So this is not doing bad at all. I think this Meta has really legs to continue going up. I wish this would come down into support, and then maybe I can catch the next move. It's looking already a little bit extended by tomorrow if it opens, you know, with that continues with that percentage, that 2% up. This is gonna be a little very extended. I shouldn't say very extended on the MACD. The TSI is not that bad, and the RSI is gonna be overbought. So we might get a little bit of a pullback into support. That would be fantastic, but this definitely has more room to continue going to the upside. Very nice. Now let's take a look at Microsoft, and they didn't have a good day. Do I have notes on Microsoft? Take a look. Meta. That's now, and then I have, where is my Tesla? Microsoft. I have Microsoft right here. Okay. So it was down almost 5%, I believe, after hours. 4.51%. That's a lot. Back at, look at this, surprise, you hit 415 again, and then came back and closed for the day at 421. Very nice. That so we did hit this level right here after hours, and we are somewhere right here, 120, give or take. So, I think that what didn't help Microsoft was the cloud service income and whatnot. But other than that, everything else was a bit. I personally want to really continue trading these names, and maybe I will, but I just want to see a little more clarity on how they're going to behave. I think that, well, by tomorrow when this opens, you're gonna be right by the 200 SMA, and these indicators are gonna be pointing down. That RSI is already pointing down, so we'll see how this behaves. We'll see how this level of resistance turns out at 431. But now you are back at 431 and 415. This level 415 has been pretty incredible. Okay, the EPS for Microsoft, it was 3.23 versus 3.13. So that is an upside of 10% year over year. Total revenue 69.6 billion versus 68.9 billion. That was the estimation. That's up 12% year over year. And net income 24.1 billion versus 23.4 billion. That was a forecast, which is a 10% increase. The operating income is 31.7 billion, and that was a 17% increase year over year. Again, we are back into this level, and we'll see. I think these names are going to need a little bit of time, so there's less risk getting into them. Now let's talk about NVIDIA briefly, and I think that NVIDIA is in a little bit of trouble, to be honest. Let's see what happened after hours and see if nothing really. Okay. I think that if Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, and some other names hit the brakes on capital expenses, NVIDIA is really going to have a really bad time. Now, Meta, Zuckerberg didn't say that they were going to slow down on the expenses that they plan to have, but that doesn't mean that, in the future they can revise those. Those intentions of spending more money. Anyways, for now, you're right on the 200 SMA again. Yesterday, what I said is that I wanted to see a little bit more of a continuation of this move to feel a little more secure as far as how we can, see NVIDIA's behavior. And I think I said that you have to be over 130 in order to feel a little more bullish on this name. Well, we're back down at 123. We close right here today, and we'll see what else is gonna come. But the MACD is looking horrible. It's looking worse than the TSI, which is fine, and the RSI is also not looking bad, not looking good. So don't be surprised that you might actually come into 117, and if you break 117, 110 is coming. That is crazy. But I'm not too bullish about. I'm not too hard with NVIDIA, to be honest. I think again, this whole play needs a week or two to really give us a little color in what is going on. I think there's a lot of overreaction. I think there is a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknown right now, and the market doesn't like that. So not a trade for me. Even if we break 130, I think it's too risky. This level of lack of liquidity is fine. Even as I'm seeing this chart, I could be like, well, you're bouncing on the 200 SMA, there might be a move. No, I think everything considered is a risky trade. I already made a lot of money on NVIDIA in December, but it's not a trade for me right now. Definitely not. Now let's move on to a name I gave you, and I hope you actually took advantage of it, and that is Reddit. And taking a note. Look at this. So when did I mention Reddit the first time? I think it was back on, I don't know, the 13th. It was a while ago, but I was following this move because it looked pretty obvious to me, and now it's breaking out. I did already make a pretty decent amount of money. Here I had calls on Reddit, and this has been moving very nice. Yesterday was up 7.7%. Today was up 3.72%. And I think after hours, it pushed a little bit more, just a little bit more, 1% after hours. Well, not bad. It's over $200, a psychological level. And now you are again at price discovery. This is not looking bad. I think we still have a little bit more room, but you might actually come down towards support. Who knows? But I just love this move. It was pretty obvious. It gave me those. It was GEV was behaving the same way. GEV sold off a couple of days back, and then Robinhood had a similar setup, and there were a couple of other names, and we were talking about that had the setup, and now I think we might have a continuation on this. Just be mindful on how this might behave. You can easily come down towards support, and if you retest support, then that's actually even better because you're coming back into levels that already exist, and you're forming another level of resistance. And then once you break that level, then you can continue into price discovery. Very nice. And now let's finish the video with Tesla. Tesla was up today by, let me take a note really quick. Tesla was up today by 4% after hours, I believe. Am I crazy? Yeah, 4.44%. Not bad. Listen, to be honest, earnings weren't too good, right? Nothing really. They actually missed. Let me take a look. So they missed on adjusted EPS, they missed revenue, they missed gross margins, and they missed operating margin. Not margins, not good. Yet the stock managed to keep going up. I think that Elon did a very good job in the call, even though he was stuttering a lot, but it was new. And we might actually start, I don't know, navigating this wave of I don't know, it gives me those feelings that we had last year when there were a lot of promises, and we started moving back in these areas right here. We continue going up. We might actually get the same kind of situation, but be mindful that tomorrow you might have an actual flash, and and you can come down towards 365, which is where you were at one point during earnings. Now you're right below 415. I think if you break 415, then you're going to continue going into a higher level. But again, I think we all have to be mindful on how this stock is going to behave. It's going to be volatile tomorrow, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be volatile. And there might be a flash tomorrow if you know, which is very possible. Anyways, I really don't have much to say about Tesla because again, they missed in earnings, and so I'm not too too solid on this move, on this 4% move. We'll see what we get after hours, or before the bell tomorrow. And other than that, my friends, that's all I have. See you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna have a super busy week, but I'm definitely gonna try to do a video tomorrow. Anyways, see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye bye.